Hey there. Today we're going to be talking about manding, which is also known as requesting in layman's terms. Us behavior analysts really like to use the word manding. It's a verbal behavior term that simply means to request something, to say something because you want something. It's derived from command, demand, reprimand. So when Skinner came up with the concepts of verbal behavior, he really honed in on some strange words for some of these. So just keep in mind. That man simply means request. So when you hear me say the word man, know that I'm referring to requesting. I think some important things to take away today that we're going to go over are the key components of man training, which include prompting the learner, often echoing the words, that your child is motivated to go outside, saying outside, 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 outside when you're by the door. If he's just standing there yanking on the knob, trying to encourage some vocalizations. Your child may not repeat anything, but they're still hearing you say something 3 to 5 times associated with going outside. So you may not see the immediate echo of that prompt, but in time you should start to see him or her trying more and more to make vocal approximations similar to yours. This is how children learn how to talk. Children with autism and other developmental disabilities or language delays might just need to hear it more. They may need to hear you say it 100 times more than a typical kid. So we can't give up on them because they are still listening, even if they're not talking, okay? But a great way to transfer their role from only being a listener to being a speaker is to prompt, 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 prompt. Okay, so in the beginning, we prompt pretty heavy. And then as time goes, we start to pull those prompts back so that the child starts to request or mand independently. That's our ultimate goal, is that truly they just talk when they're motivated for something. I say outside when I'm in the living room because I want to go outside. I don't only say outside when I'm by the door, and I don't only say outside when mom is prompting me. Some examples are, a child might say ball when there's a basketball goal and there's no ball. Or maybe they have one shoe and the other shoe is missing and it's time to go outside. So the child's motivated to say shoe so you can get their shoe. What you'll notice with demand is the antecedent to demand is usually seeing something or it's motivation, but there should always be motivation present with demand, okay? Even if it takes me seeing pretzels to say, ooh, I'm hungry, I wanna ask for pretzels, or the pretzels not being inside at all and me thinking, oh, super hungry right now. What would be great to eat? Pretzels. So what we want to get your child to the point is that when he's just sitting on the couch, he can look to you and tell you what he wants. Milk, outside, bath, sleep, stop, no, TV. Even if it's one word at first, that's all we're looking for. Despite your child's age, they have to learn language and building blocks. The 2 main building blocks in the beginning are going to be your nouns and your verbs. We don't want to only prompt nouns because verbs are also really important. Instead of that child saying outside, he can also say open. He can also prompt you to open the door. So you can also get multiple mands out of that by putting your hand on the door, prompting open, open, open until your child says something. We generally want to prompt something 3 to 5 times. The child makes an echo of opa, open, or maybe he just mouths it or tries. Maybe he doesn't say anything at all. We open the door a little bit, but we only crack it. Why? We want to keep the motivation there. Remember, there can only be a mand or a request when there's, that's right, motivation. You need the motivation. Crack that door. Let them feel that warm air coming in right now in the summer. Let them see outside. Let them smell it. The next thing you would prompt would be outside. Outside. See if you can't get that word out or some approximation. It's okay if at first a learner's not taking your prompts. Remember, it will take time. Be patient, stay neutral, and make it fun to learn, It's okay if you're sing-songing too, but just know we really want to prompt the adult version of a word so that they're hearing the full word enunciated correctly. I think it's an important point that we say them very clearly. Outside, open. Really show them your mouth. It's good if they can try to imitate the movements of your mouth. If I was talking to you simply, I might say, opener, outside. But to the child, I would get to their face, or to their level so they can see my mouth. And I would say, open. You want me to open, open. I might even open the door a little bit and then close it. And that might even help elicit some motivation. Open, or it may help them understand that what I'm prompting is that meaning, right, of open. So there's many ways this can be done. I think it's important to focus on differential reinforcement, which we're going to discuss, prompting, and fading those prompts. That's really all there is to it. So in the beginning, you may be prompting more often. That's okay. We want that. They need to hear it. They need to build their confidence. They need to make the associations with what the words sound like and what the item is, right? This one might make you laugh. Gumby, Gumby. I wouldn't say toy. I would say what it specifically is, especially if like this would be your child's favorite toy and they always want to take it with them. Teach them to ask for it. The main things they need to learn to ask for at first are the main things they're motivated by throughout the day. If your child loves going outside, loves going for a ride or a walk, their favorite drinks, their favorite food items, their favorite toys, even mom and dad or any other important caretaker prompting those as well, which is great because eventually they can ask for you when you're not in sight. And doesn't that make anyone feel good when someone is asking for them when they're not around? Anything that can help them get their wants and needs met. We also want to make sure we give them the words stop and no, so that they can also tell us what they do not like. I would keep those pretty simple at first. Eventually we'll get into, don't touch it, let me go, don't do this. But in the beginning, you just need them to be able to say something instead of engaging in behavior. So instead of pushing you when they don't like something or running away, if they could just say stop or no thanks or no, depending on your level of your learner, you're going to prompt something so that they can remove things that they don't like from their environment. So if they find something aversive, we want them to be able to have it removed, but with words. Same thing, you would prompt that 3 to 5 times. You may only prompt it twice and they say it and you can move back. You just don't know with your learner. And you also want to watch for their frustration level. So you don't want to just keep prompting 6, 7, 8 times and they're not saying anything. We don't want to do that because it could discourage them as a speaker. What we want is for them to hear it modeled to them, encourage it, but not require it at first. As they start to echo you, you want to start requiring it more and more. So in the beginning, their effort level will be low, right? And their reinforcement level will be high. As we go with time, we want to increase their effort, right? While keeping the motivation there, but still encouraging the language, but kind of, let's say, require more out of them. So now that I know you can echo open, I know you can echo outside, now I'm going to expect you to say that. And I'm not only going to expect you to say that with me, but I'm also going to expect you to say it with other adults in your life who are important and who are with you every day. I also want to practice it in different settings and environments. So we're going to practice it when we go to grandma's house. We're going to practice it with grandma. We don't want you just talking with mom or dad. We want you talking everywhere and with everyone. It's great to pick, 10 or 20 words you may want to focus on at first, or you may want to just dive in and start prompting everything. It's really up to you at home. It's different for parents than it is for therapists. And we do understand that. But any growth is good, right? So we just want to achieve getting them started. And I will help you through that process on a more individualized basis if I am your consultant. But this is just general knowledge. So let's give another example. Child's motivated for pretzels. I have them out on the table. There's a little bowl of them. Child's not saying anything. Reaching for the pretzels, climbing, trying to climb on the counter to get the pretzels. What we want to do is block that problem behavior and prompt the word pretzel. Okay, not cracker, not chip, pretzel. That's going to be way too difficult for your kids. You may choose something else, but it's great to prompt the specific word. Say your child eats pretzels every day. They really should know what a pretzel is, even if their approximation is pazza or za or papa. If that's what this is for a while, that's okay. The ultimate goal would be to shape that approximation into the adult form of the word pretzel or some very close approximation so that anyone can understand what they're saying, right? But just like a baby learns language, in the beginning, only mom, dad really know what they're trying to say, but as they learn and they hear it more and more, their approximations get closer and clearer. And that usually just takes time. So just know that that's your child's developmental track as well, most likely, and that we shouldn't expect too much from them, but we also shouldn't expect too little. So I would take out that pretzel and I would prompt, pretzel, pretzel, pretzel. I don't want to get him discouraged. I give him a piece of pretzel. Hey, I might even have given him one in the beginning once he was sitting nicely, not when he was climbing over everyone, to get him motivated, okay? Now that the child's motivated, we know they're motivated because they're reaching, they're having problem behavior. So what we want to do is put a little space in that and try to get some words. He didn't echo me, so I broke the pretzel. I don't know if you noticed that, okay? He's chewing that pretzel. He's done. He's reaching for more. When I see that reach or that eye gaze, that's how I really know that the child is motivated. So I'll hold up another whole pretzel, not the piece of the pretzel. I want the ultimate motivation, right? I might even hold up multiple pretzels. Oh, you want pretzels? Pretzel, pretzel, pretzel. Child doesn't respond, break a piece of pretzel, give him a bite. He's frustrated, don't respond, let him have that piece. He's also learning that if he doesn't say anything or try anything, he's not going to get the ultimate load, right? And we want to keep them motivated. So one bite at a time. If you're having to do one pretzel at a time, if your kid's really picky or maybe they don't like things broken. I've worked with children where I'm only going to eat this pretzel if it's a whole pretzel. Even if it's in the bag and it's a piece of a pretzel, I'm not going to eat it. I'm very particular. I like things whole. If that happens to be your child, that's fine. They would get one pretzel each time. And if they did echo you, and so if I was saying pretzel, 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 and then there it is. The child said pretzel. I might give 3 pretzels. Good job saying pretzel, pretzel, pretzels. You get 3 pretzels. Wow. I can't believe you said pretzel, pretzel, pretzel. Give another pretzel. Make it worth their while. So the more effort that they're putting out, the more you want to give to them. You don't want to overgive because you want to keep them motivated. Remember, a man can only occur when there's, you got it, motivation. Okay. So whatever that is they're motivated for is what we want to use. A good example is often, let's say milk or juice or whatever they're drinking every day. I don't merely want to get the man milk. I ideally want to get a whole chain of mans out of your child. So as a therapist, what I would do is make them say kitchen, go to the kitchen, make them say open, we open the fridge, I let them look through the fridge, see what they're motivated for. Sometimes if they're not ideally motivated and we want to work on language, we will try to elicit motivation and contrive that motivation. So opening a fridge is like a menu. You know, during quarantine, we've all gone and opened our fridge and just stood there hoping something would pop out and say, eat me, eat me, eat me. Now, were we really motivated for the item we ended up choosing? Probably not. But seeing all the food, smelling the food made us motivated, right? So we're going to hope for that in this aspect. It doesn't always have to be a natural motivation. You can't contrive that. So I would prompt that. I've got milk and I've got a cup, okay? So what I would want to do is put that cup in front of the kid if we know that the child's thirsty. We played outside for the last 20 minutes. It's really hot outside. Milk's probably not the best thing to give at that point, but say it's water or it's juice or anything else. So maybe I give cup for free and maybe I prompt for it. Maybe they go to the fridge, they're trying to get water, they're trying to push the water thing. I would prompt cup. I might even open that cabinet and let them see the cups to prompt cup before I even take it down from the cabinet. Just depends again on the level of your learner and how much you want to push. You could also have the items ready if that's easier for you. You're going outside for a few minutes. He's always thirsty when he comes in. You may have the water or the juice and the cup ready. You give the child the cup. It at least starts to elicit the motivation of wanting this, right? They can also see it. That helps. But you can also prompt. What could you prompt? Open, 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 right? Then you could prompt pour, pour. I might model it sometimes. That's good. Pour. Notice we're not filling it up. We're keeping them motivated. Pour. Maybe the child says, pour. We pour more, right? So the more they contribute, the more they get. Now what are you holding? You're holding a cup of milk, right? So now we can prompt milk. Prompt the child to ask for it. Milk, milk, milk. Whether they echo or not, they get the milk, right? Ideally, it would be nice to give it to them, or you could hold it. They could take a sip if they didn't repeat you. That way you still have the item. If your kid's not really going to tolerate that or would make it a negative experience, you don't want to do it. But what I may have done in the beginning is just poured a little bit into the cup. And then if they mand it for milk, I could give it to them. They take a swig, and then we could repeat the process over and over and over again so that they get more practice. Even if you just repeated it 2 or 3 times and you were filling it up more, that's still good. Any practice is better than no practice at all, okay? So it's hard to always judge that, but that's differentially reinforcing. All that means is the more effort the child puts out, the more reinforcement they receive. So if they only say "ja" instead of "juice," they might just get a little bit. If they say the full word "juice," they might get the whole juice box. If they're not saying anything at all, I might hold the juice box and let them take a sip. So I can keep them motivated so we can keep practicing. If you just prompt it the one time, "juice, juice, juice," and they never say anything and they get the whole juice box, they may quickly learn they don't really have to say anything to get the ultimate reward. So they have to learn, and what we're trying to do is motivate them to learn to say something to get something. It's the first relation we need them to make to change their role from being a speaker, from being a listener to being a speaker. It's so important. So I hope that these tips were helpful today. We talked about prompting, right? Saying it multiple times. And even when you deliver it, don't forget to continue saying the word. The more the child hears the word while they see, taste, touch, feel the item, the more likely it is to start to make the connections. Remember to have fun with this. You don't want to frustrate the learner. You want to keep it fun. This is called MAN training, request training, requesting, practicing requesting, whatever you would like to call it. I just wanted to give this tip to you today because I think that a lot of people just aren't really sure what to do or how to elicit the language, but just know that motivation is key. I did print a few slides because I'm not great at sharing my screen on Zoom. So I just think that it's important to show that, you know, the more language the child has, the less behavior they'll have. The little icon says, "Yay, I can talk now, so I don't need to engage in problem behavior to access the things I want and need." Keep that in mind though. So the more the language, the less behavior. It's a common correlation, okay? A mand, what is a mand? A mand is simply a request for something, a demand, a command, saying something because you want it. And what's always present with demand? Motivation, motivation, right? We're not gonna ask for something we don't want. So I'm not gonna ask for a hamburger if I'm not hungry. Even if I did, you put it in front of me, would it reinforce me? No, because I didn't really want it. So we want whatever they receive to be reinforcing, okay? And also remember that they should get more reinforcement. So the whole juice box, if they say a full word or they're trying, then maybe they just get a sip of juice if they're not saying the whole word or not even trying. And that's so we can run more trials and really make a difference of reinforcing less for less effort and reinforcing more for more effort. Again, that's known as differential reinforcement. So these are your tips for manding and getting you started on a manding program. If you would like more detailed information or a more individualized program or training, reach out to me. I'm here for you.